This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network. RetroZap.com proudly presents a podcast beyond your experience, beyond your imagination. The DuneCast. With your hosts, Joe Tavano and Rod Johnson, featuring news, analysis, and discussion of everything in Frank Herbert's Dune universe and beyond. Welcome back, friends, to the DuneCast. This is it. You found it, the #1 Dune podcast in the known universe. My name is Joe Tavano, and joining me, as always, my co-host and good friend, Rod Johnson. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. That intro has never been more true. Frank Herbert's Dune universe and beyond.
And beyond. Yeah, it's true. We are moving far, far beyond just books these days. And there are so many Dune projects going on, known and unknown, that we had to come back for what we were calling a movie update, but I feel like it's like a franchise update at this point. And we have a lot to discuss. I mean, the movie is essentially wrapped in filming, and we have a new TV series going on right now. We have video games going on right now, even a board game, and maybe some secret projects that we may or may not find out about at San Diego Comic-Con. So let's get into it, huh? So let's talk about the biggest news we got recently. Dune: The Sisterhood. What do you know about it?
You know, there's not a whole lot that we know yet. We know, obviously, it's going to be focused on the Bene Gesserit. We know Denis has got a big hand in developing this. He's going to be co-writing and directing the pilot episode.
Yeah.
It's already been greenlit. So for Warner Brothers streaming. So I guess another streaming service I'll be signing up for.
Yeah, Warner Media is the actual group. And this news was broke by Deadline last month. A straight to series order. That means no pilot. For a series called Dune: The Sisterhood, a drama from legendary television based on the Frank Herbert's classic novel Dune and the popular sci-fi franchise it spawned. Wild, huh? We're getting an actual series on the Bene Gesserit.
I was floored when this came across. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. It seems like every announcement they make is just amazing to me. Like, this is the great time to be alive, Joe.
Yeah, it really is. Like, what a time to be a Dune fan. Like, it's wild.
I remember you get a new book from Brian and Kevin every couple of years. But that was it, you know. And every once in a while there'd be a reference in some TV show or something. You're like, hey. And now it's like, oh, by the way, guys, you're getting 2 movies, a TV show, comic books, video game, board game, and something else we haven't told you yet. And you're just like, what?
Yeah.
This is great.
I mean, so you got to wonder, is this like, so is this series going to be like, oh, is it, kind of a throwaway thing? Is it kind of like ancillary material? No. Denis Villeneuve is involved in this. He is executive producing the series and will direct the pilot episode, with one of the feature's co-writers, John Spates, set to write the show. So people who are heavily involved in the Dune film series are involved in this series, and there is going to be a massive synergy between the two. So what's happening in the TV series will reverberate in the films, and what happens in the films will reverberate back in the TV series.
And I'm wondering if we're going to get a prequel in some ways. You know, them trying to work the breeding program. I wonder if that's what we're going to get. I mean, it's speculation, obviously, but that's my guess.
Yeah, I mean, is this going to be this series, will it be a full, multi-episode arcs, or are we going to be dipping back and forth in time? I just don't know.
That's true. They could
There
be doing that
is
too.
there is so much time and material and characters that they can cover. I mean, we can go, you can do just literally like greatest hits from the Sisterhood. I mean, the formation. You can talk about the formation of the Sisterhood. You could go into what the Sisterhood is like with Paul. You could go into the 3,500 years under Leto, and what about Dune? During the scattering and what happened there? What happened to the Bene Gesserit sisters that went out into the scattering? I mean, there's so many angles that this series could cover, and I think it would be very confining to just nail it down to one.
Yeah, and we don't know yet. And maybe it's a deal where each season will be a different arc.
Yeah,
Maybe the first season's like what I said, and then the second season, hey, we're going to talk about the Sisterhood when Paul was emperor and what they went through.
yeah. I mean, this basically leads me to believe that they have a plan to craft a larger story arc, much like the Marvel phases did. So when you have the potential to tell large scale stories with the Bene Gesserit, basically the rock of the entire Dune franchise that spans essentially everything that is in it, you can do so much, but you need to focus. You need to know where to start and where you're going to end up. And I think that there is, when you're starting with the film and then you'll be going into a series, you probably want to give a little backstory, right? You want to maybe, enlighten people on who the Bene Gesserit were and what they're like. And I don't think you're going to jump around too much yet, right? Because you don't want to you can't really get into what's going to happen in the scattering or legal.
I could see this series coming out. Sorry, cut out there, but I could see the series being kind of a prequel type thing to the movie.
Yeah,
and coming out before the movie. Like the movie's not till November.
It's true.
And depending on how many episodes they film, if the movie's wrapped for the most part, like we're led to believe, then they could start filming this fairly quickly.
Oh yeah, I mean there'll be independent productions for sure, and you have to think that this series will probably be a stopgap in between the first and second film. At least the first season will be, and then who knows what will happen afterwards. But the first season, I would imagine, will be a prequel, giving some color and insight and life to the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, and then maybe afterwards, maybe maybe it talks a little bit more about Paul, the reign of Paul, and you do a season within the Imperium, in the Atreides Empire, and watching that grow, watching the jihad take place, and that sort of environment. And then maybe the third movie comes out, and maybe Children of Dune comes out, and then you do something with that, and post ascension of Leto. I don't know.
I definitely think they're going to try and use the series to do a soft introduction to the universe.
Yeah, I think it's bridges, right?
So they're not trying, like we don't have that long voiceover monologue from the 84 movie where they're trying to explain everything, which, there's some stuff not everybody's going to watch that show that watches a movie, but
yeah,
maybe it's a way to introduce some of the ancillary material without having to try and cram it in the movie.
So you think it's going to be before the first film?
I think I do. I think it's going to be revolving around the breeding program and as they get closer to the Kwisatz Haderach.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
I don't think it'll be the Baron, because I don't, then they'd have to use.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to use film characters at that point.
Yeah, but it could be a couple like a generation or two before.
Yeah, it could be. That's probably a good idea. So you get people interested in like the Butlerian Jihad and things like that. But notwithstanding that, the film needs to stand on its own. You need to be able to walk in that film cold and understand everything you need to understand to know the story. So, I mean, it'll shed great color into who the Bene Gesserit are, but I mean, you can't walk into the first Dune film in over 30 years and give people a prerequisite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they pass out pamphlets before the first one?
They did.
Yeah. It's like, let's not do that again.
It's funny. David Lynch actually was on record recently during a like scholarly talk, being like, I don't hate all of the Dune film. I didn't have any control over the final cut, so I really dislike the final product. But there was some stuff that was actually quite good. He actually said that.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting to get a positive reaction from him.
From him about it.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was kind of interesting.
It'll be interesting to see if he weighs in on the new one. Afterwards,
I don't think he will.
Sure people will be asking. You don't think he will? I'm
No.
sure people will be asking him too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's going to be dogged by it. But Lynch says what Lynch wants, and he's never one to succumb to pressure of the media. So I really do not think that we'll be hearing much of anything aside from congrats to Denis, because just as a professional courtesy to just a professional courtesy from one director to another, you don't really do that, right? You don't try to steal the thunder. You don't try and provide your commentary as much, unless it's just like kind of a passe sort of beneficence, beneficence.
Yeah.
That's late. Yeah, so this is really exciting. I really think that there is so much that can be done with a Sisterhood TV show. And, it's a great way to start pulling in the Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson lore as well, who did did so much with the backstory of the Bene Gesserit and the Butlerian Jihad, and so much more that we're really on the precipice of getting to in the next couple of months. So that's really exciting. That this is all on the table to be discussed in a Bene Gesserit series. I mean, this might be the first time we see the Bene Tellarax as well. In Ix.
We could.
And we could see all of the planets that aren't featured in the first film in this series, and that's really exciting. And there's plenty to do there, as well as foreshadowing. There is a significant opportunity to foreshadow some things in this series that we know are going to happen later on in the saga that Herbert didn't know was going to happen in the saga until he actually got there. So perhaps there is a way to foreshadow the coming of the Honored Matres, or foreshadow some of the. I mean, it's all over prescience. There's foreshadowing everywhere. I mean, I think that there's something to do there. And when you have so many characters that can see, all across time, I think that there is a lot to do there. With moving around and jumping through the story. I mean, think about it. In Dune Messiah, the Bene Tellarax say they created their own Kwisatz Haderach at one point. So let's go back to that. I mean, that could be amazing.
Yeah.
And how does the system
kind of one of those things that gets thrown away.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all these little tidbits could be very interesting plot points in a series to explore. So there's a lot there. And just the amount of sets that can be explored and places that can be explored. The palaces and keeps and all these different areas of the Imperium that we know about, and ones that we don't know about as well, can all be introduced, and it can only be add to the rich tapestry that is already going to be unfolding. So very, very exciting stuff about this new Dune series.
Yeah, did they announce how many episodes per season?
Oh no, nothing yet. Absolutely nothing yet.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just going to be it's going to be on Warner's streaming service, Warner Media. And it's pretty exciting. Dune, the Sisterhood. That's pretty much it. No casting yet. Nothing else. So yeah, we have a lot to look forward to there, and more info to come. And you know what? We'll be there as soon as we get more info.
Oh, absolutely. I had text coming across that day, and I was just the first one. I thought, this has got to be a joke.
Yeah, I'm like,
because I think you and I were talking. I was like, man, they are really, really putting Dune on the map. They're really going all in on this franchise, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, we're full steam ahead. It's everything that we expected was going to happen and more. So, I mean, there's even more excitement to talk about. So let's get into the second story here we have. Okay, next project. The next project isn't even really a project yet. It's just an announcement. But I think we should, coming off of Dune the Sisterhood, we probably want to talk about this too. Because just a few weeks after Dune the Sisterhood was announced in June, July 1st, Brian Herbert gets out on social media with a real banger and just says, I just signed a significant Dune franchise contract, and the formal announcement will be soon. Separately, for the first movie of the novel Dune, the film is going very well. Also, a new tabletop game is proceeding at a good pace, and a digital game is in the works. So let's get back to that first sentence. I just signed a significant new Dune franchise contract.
Yeah, it's an amusement park.
Oh yeah, maybe that's it. Oh, could you imagine?
Yeah, we're gonna have sandworm rides and functioning still suits, and
yeah,
it's gonna be amazing.
The Water Fat Cafe. Yeah. I gotta tell you, man, I'm not water fat anymore. After this keto diet, like every time I break keto and I eat something bad, I literally gain like 5 pounds of water weight, and like I no longer have like the same leanness. I swear to God, all the Fremen were just keto. And like you get a leanness you don't get when you're not keto, and it's like water fat. It's literally from having like water in your cells from carbohydrates. It's crazy.
I might have to try that soon, because as you know, I went from a job where I was very, very physically active all day to now sitting at a desk.
I lost over 100 pounds.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm like running like 5Ks like 4 times a week, and lifting weights, and it's great. I'm in the best shape of my life. Probably even better than my 20s.
Yeah, I got up and walked from my desk the other day.
Look at you. I'm not bad.
Look at me going.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I found out the shirts shrink when you hang them in the closet for a couple of years. Apparently they shrink.
That does happen. Still suits too. And can you imagine a Dune theme park? You have to like wear a still suit, and like, no one can.
Here's your contacts.
Everyone has to walk in like uneven meter.
Oh, it'd be amazing. And you know how they get the fast passes in some of the parks?
Yeah.
Instead of getting like a little wristband, you get blue contacts.
Oh so man, that'd be wild. Yeah, but if anyone walks like not like in like normally, like a sandworm just comes out of like the bottom of the theme park and just like terrorizes everyone.
You're out.
Yeah. Oh my God, instead of a monorail, you'd have like maker hooks, and like you just ride like a sandworm around like the Disney World monorail.
Oh, this would be amazing.
This would actually all right. Yeah. Okay, I could see this. Maybe we can get some artist
wax
representations.
museum of the different Atreides.
Oh, that would be very nice.
And then like a big baron that comes out and tries to scare you.
Yeah. And then just like a tent for like just people doing LSD trying to see the future, probably. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Kid friendly.
Yeah. No, I don't know if this would be a kid friendly theme park. I just don't know how that would work. Who knows, right? Who knows?
But I think we've cracked the mystery of what the new project is.
Yeah, that could be good.
Like we've probably nailed it.
Yeah,
I think we nailed it.
The thing is too, what you hear on a lot of the blogosphere is that it's a project or it's a story or it's a film. What Brian actually says is his specific words were that he says he signed a significant new Dune franchise contract. That could mean a lot of things. It's a significant contract for the Dune franchise. That doesn't mean media. That doesn't even mean like story. It could mean, like clothing line, action figures. It could mean licensing of some sort. It could be, could be a theme park. Who knows? It could be something really, really major for the actual franchise, but maybe not so much story related. And also what Brian perceives as significant may not be what, geeks perceive as significant either. I mean, I don't know. Like the board game was a significant Dune franchise contract, but I don't know if that resonates with the mainstream geek culture out there. I think that Dune fans love this, but I don't know if that's gonna make waves outside of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it does have to be some licensing is what makes sense, because I feel like he wouldn't be describing it that way if it was some kind of movie or television deal.
Yeah. I mean, it could be book related,
video game. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be a major new book franchise contract too. It could be like, a new, 6 book arc. It could be, like a full collection of like all 20 books so far. Like what if it's something like that, like a 20 book series, or a 20 book collection, or, like what if it's unreleased Herbert notes, or what if it's something like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a raffle. The winner gets the floppy disk from the lockbox.
Yeah, they get the lockbox and the floppy disk. That could be
some
something.
quest. What was that movie in the book? Ready Player One.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be
some big
Easter
egg hunt. You win the lockbox and the floppy disk.
That'd be something for sure. All right, let's move on to the next story here. We're gonna wait and see on this one, but something major is definitely in the works, and really excited to find out what it's gonna be.
One more thing before we switch.
Okay. What's up?
I did want to make a quick comment. Like you talked about the maybe possibly new books.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this new artwork on these books.
Oh,
they're just
so
gorgeous.
good. It really is.
I don't need 5 copies of one book, but I want 5 copies of one book. Some of this art is amazing.
I just want, exactly. The artwork has really taken a step up lately. It's been really, really good. So, if you guys are in the need for some new Dune editions, they are out there and they look great.
They do.
Yeah. I love the one of, just like Paul kind of in the center and kind of ringed with like ornamentation. It's really cool looking.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's for the hardcover edition.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So, a buddy of mine at work let me on to this band that is entirely based on Dune and has like 3-4 albums. They're called Stoneburner, and if you're a Dune fan, you know what that is. And they have their catalog is entirely dedicated to interpretations of Dune themes and concepts. They have songs with the names like The New Sisterhood, Awareness Spectrum Narcotic, Ascension of House Atreides, The Sheer Block, The Water of Life, The Coronation of Leto, and they go pretty deep too. There's an entire album called The No Chamber, one called The Mouse Shadow. So I think it's probably worth checking out. They're on Spotify, and they make great backing music for this podcast, so we're digging them. Don't you think, Rod?
I am adding them to my Spotify playlist as we speak.
Boom. There we go. Yeah. So cool stuff. Definitely. Definitely worth checking out here. So let's give it a little bit of a listen here when we get to the next story. I'm grooving. I'm feeling good. I like it. Yeah. Okay. So there are new Dune video games on the way. Not one. This is going back to February, to be honest with you. So we have a little bit of a news catch up to go on right now. But yeah, we have not one but 3 games reported based on the 2020 Dune reboot. Funcom is the company that's going to be doing these, and they are a video game company, essentially, best known for the game Conan Exiles. And they've signed a 6-year deal with Legendary Studios to make at least 3 new games set in Frank Herbert's wild science fiction universe, as it is reported from Tech Radar. So pretty cool. Everything's going to be PC and console, like most releases these days. And pre-production is said to have started on an open world multiplayer Dune title. So that's pretty interesting. I do think there is a lot of hype built out to another Dune strategy game like Dune 2. So maybe we'll see something like that come out too. Yeah.
I haven't been big on the video gaming lately.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we both know that'll probably change.
Yeah, I think
my question for you is, what do you game on?
I mean, I have.
Are you just a?
What's that? Am I what?
Are you a PC? Or are you an Xbox?
Dude,
Xbox,
I have
PlayStation.
So many video game systems that I never play. It's ridiculous. I have the NES Mini, SNES Mini, PlayStation Mini all set up, in addition to a PlayStation 4 that I barely ever get to touch. And I have other game systems in storage as well. I really enjoy video games. I just do not get enough of a chance to play them. So hopefully this Dune series of video games will give me the impetus to, dive back in and grab the controller again.
Yeah, well, I have a 4, so I just wanted to make sure that we were both on the same system when the game came out.
Oh yeah, but I think by the time the game comes out, we'll probably be on PlayStation 5 as well. I mean, I also do have a pretty good gaming PC rig too, and I play on Steam quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, I have a lot of games to play and no time to do it, which is kind of like the refrain for my entire life. Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I recently had one.
I'd have to get a new one.
20. Yeah, you might have to, my friend. You might have to, especially if a strategy game was only coming to PC, which sometimes happens. You never know. So pretty cool. I'm really excited. It's just another good example of the Dune franchise just coming alive yet again.
Yeah.
For the record, this song is called Ascension of House Atreides by Stoneburner. Pretty cool. I'm really digging them. Good stuff to a little bit upbeat. I was expecting something a little bit more esoteric, but man, it's good scene setting music for Dune for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be enjoying this on my way home from work, like at 3 a.m. I'm looking for more. I don't want the stuff that's going to wake me up.
Yeah, this is good. Good 3 a.m. music, definitely.
More background, good driving.
Yeah, definitely. Now we had talked about the Dune board game in previous episodes of the DuneCast, but there have been more details revealed about the remake and reissue of the classic 1979 Dune board game. So that's really exciting. And yeah, Gale Force 9 Games is bringing it back, and they're going to be trying to, do this as faithful as possible. And the new artwork just looks spectacular. The game board, as well as a new cover to the game as well, with a really cool font, very similar to, what's being done with the Dune font stylings these days, with very, curved letters that all kind of resemble one another. It's pretty cool. Yeah, one quote here from...
Have you got your pre-order in yet?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
I need to get on that.
It should be out in August, they're saying. Yep. Gale Force 9
before my birthday.
Yeah, John Paul Brizigotti confirmed the news and shared more details. This is back in February, I believe. Yeah. So he said, we want to do something classic and have the original game from Peter Olotka and the guys that wrote the original Dune game. The game is great. It was great in 78 and still great today. It needs a graphic update. We've basically taken the Avalon Hill game and Peter and the guys and updated the rules to modernize them a little, but fundamentally that classic game will be out in the summer, probably August. So this is expected to be just first in a line of new Dune games. And who knows? There could be even more tabletop and board game announced after this as well. San Diego Comic-Con is coming up this weekend, and I wonder if there will be other new Dune announcements coming from San Diego Comic-Con, because it would be a perfect time to do it. What do you think?
I think it would not be surprised. Now, if you told me 6 months ago, I would have been like, no, I kind of doubt it. They're doing the new, but since then we've gotten news of a television show, video games, movie, or board games, and it's, they're putting some power behind this franchise, and so I could definitely see some kind of news coming out.
Now, filming is essentially complete on the first film, aside from maybe a couple of pickup shots here and there. So
yeah, I think they said they were filming scenes with Fremen.
Yeah,
recently.
Yeah. So let me ask you something: is it out of the realm of possibility to have a teaser trailer from a working cut of the film? I say no. I think it is entirely within the realm of possibility that at San Diego Comic-Con we could get a sparse and short teaser trailer to this film, just to kind of whet our appetites a little bit and give us maybe just a little bit of an idea of visually what this might be.
I would, if they do something, I know we just keep like, this is what I'd love. I'd love to see, like, at the end of it, just be like Zendaya, Chaney, tell me of the waters at your homeworld, Usul.
And will that line even? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be something like that. It could be something very simple. I think of the Force Awakens teaser trailer, which was completed. They edited that almost immediately after filming was complete on that from the set, and they just like smashed kind of a working cut together, and it's essentially 4 shots. That's really all it is, with some music. That's about it. And I think that that's entirely possible to be done for Dune as well. So very, very exciting stuff there. I'm really hoping that San Diego Comic-Con pays off with a Dune trailer, a teaser, as it were. So keep your eyes peeled, and if there is news to report, you can sure bet we'll be back here sooner than later. I think we have a new house band for DuneCast. I think Stoneburn is it. This might be our house band.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how they couldn't be at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Last kind of story here, kind of in our own universe, and it's not meth gators, but it is about something that happened in our own world. The park in Tacoma where Frank Herbert was first inspired to write Dune has finally been named after him. He has the Frank Herbert Trail has been opened up in Tacoma's Dune Peninsula at Point Defiance Park. So that's actually something that is there. You can go to it now. It's kind of like the place to pay homage to Frank Herbert. So it's pretty exciting that was something that we had discussed a while back. So this is something that actually is a place in our own world that we can visit to pay homage to Frank Herbert. Are you gonna go?
I would love to go, and I think it's a great homage. Him being the ecologist that he was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen the photos and everything of the park?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It does look really, really beautiful, and I would love to go there.
Yeah. So definitely something to check out. And guys, if you are going to the Tacoma Dune Park, let us know. DuneCast at retrozap.com, and we want to hear about your experience going. With that, let's get into a little bit of email. What do you say?
Oh, sounds good.
All right. Okay, we have a little bit. We have some emails building up for the past couple of months here. Here we go. This one is from Tim in Australia. Hey guys, I stumbled across your podcast yesterday and only have heard a small part of the first episode so far, but that info from David Lynch's movie gives me goosebumps whenever I hear it. Dune is one of my favorite all-time books, the only book I recall immediately rereading after finishing it for the first time. I look forward to hearing the rest of the DuneCast, and when I'm able later today, we'll search out my copies of the Dune series and start reading again. Oh, that's nice to hear that we inspired him to kind of get back into the series and go through them all, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Dune is probably, obviously the only series that I revisit almost annually.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was doing that before we took this on. I was still, even then. And I've got a to-be-read pile that is way too big, but it still goes on the back burner at least once a year.
Yeah. Robert writes, hey guys, love the show. Keep it up. Just a note here. I was listening to the song Weapon of Choice and noticed they make a Dune reference in it. Just wondering if anyone else noticed that. I'm not sure what band that is from. So I'm not.
Weapon of Choice is Fat Boy Slim.
Really?
And it was the video with Christopher Walken dancing around. If you walk without rhythm.
Oh, right. Oh, yes.
You won't attract a worm.
That's
yes,
true.
Absolutely. There's a Dune reference in there.
I now that you said it, I did know that reference. It is a classic Dune reference that people have been picking up on off and on for a long time. That's really cool. And you never know where you're gonna find Dune references, right? They're everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It's pretty funny.
I think we're gonna be getting more of them now.
Yeah, I could almost be assured that we'll find out a lot more references in pop culture and in music and everywhere else to Dune. Okay, Chris.
Well, there's a Jeopardy. Wasn't it a Jeopardy question recently?
Yes, there was. There was a Jeopardy question. I think it was just literally like, Frank Herbert was the answer. What is Frank Herbert, or who is Frank Herbert? Chris writes, hey Joe and Rod, just want to give you guys kudos on your 4-hour podcast on Heretics of Dune. Nicely done. I've already listened to it twice. Wow, that's 8 hours. I don't know how many times I've been.
That's a commitment.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know how many times I've been through the Dune books, but it's such an amazing universe to walk around in for a while. Keep it up. All the best, Chris. Well, thank you so much, Chris, and really appreciate you listening to the show, especially more than once, guys. We always say listen early and often. Pretty cool. Definitely. Yeah. So there's, when it comes to, doing like a 4-hour show, these books require a lot of effort in planning and researching, and producing these shows doesn't always, fit to a schedule. So, we just appreciate you guys listening and sticking with us and, being so good to us for, being flexible with, life getting in the way sometimes, and then trying to also deliver not just, a timely show, but literally the best possible Dune show and analysis that we possibly can. So I got to tell you, it really does mean a lot to us that you guys stick with us. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate every one of you.
Yeah, definitely. Marcos writes, "Hey guys, I'm a big fan of the podcast, along with being a lifelong Dune fan. It's so exciting that there's a lot of buzz around the Dune series, as I have not been able to connect to a large fan base. My question is regarding your thoughts on a Dune series." Oh, look at this. Now, this was sent in March. We have had an email backlog. So maybe Marcos is a little prescient himself. "I think the upcoming movie is going to be fantastic, but I think to serve Dune correctly, you need a Game of Thrones type series. I know you have all mentioned that before in the podcast. I just saw that Amazon picked up the Dark Tower series from Stephen King, which followed an underwhelming movie. Do you think there are TV possibilities for Dune even after the big screen debut?" I think that question is absolutely answered. And Marcos, I want to hear your thoughts on what you think about Dune: The Sisterhood. So write us back, let us know. And I got to tell you guys, I think there's even more series potential for Dune as well. I think there are a lot of different perspectives that can be taken and a lot of different time periods to play around in. And that all seems to get opened up, I believe. I feel like it gets opened up a lot more after you get to the era of Leto II. Just 3,500 years of Leto it's just so ripe for a series. And so weird too. It's so cool. I would love to just have
I would love that.
Yeah.
I'd love like a series based on Fremen, just the background of Fremen culture and society before the time of Muad'Dib.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, Todd writes, "Hey, hi Joe and Rod, just discovered your podcast and website. My mother brought me Dune in the mid 80s. Tried reading it, but didn't get past the testing of Paul. Just terminology, it just lost me. Then I ran across the movie. After watching the movie, I read the book. The movie gave me an idea of who was who and what the terminology was all about. Loved the book. I have to say, yeah, I did approach the movie before the book myself. And the long, intro with the pictures and the voiceover was what actually blew my mind. The entire premise of the universe was just something I've never even heard of, and I loved it every second of it. In 1986, I was running a Pizza Hut, and my assistant manager told me there was more than just Dune. I went and bought the 4 others, then Chapter House came out. I can honestly say I read God Emperor of Dune at least 30 times, read Children, Heretics, and Chapter House multiple times as well. God, Emperor, and Children were held together with duct tape. I love hearing this stuff. I love these books that are just hanging on by a thread because you read them and loved them so much. When I heard that Brian got access to Frank Notes, I got excited. Chapter House ends with a big battle. Everyone jumps in a no ship and disappears. Spoiler alert there. Heretics did that to us too. I was buying the hardcovers as they were released. When I enjoyed the 2 prequel series, I am not that enamored with Hunters and Sandworms bring old characters back. I'm not sure I liked how Idaho was used in Sandworms. Overall, I enjoyed the whole series. These are all topics for debate later on as well, and we'll get to them. Nothing is perfect, but something I think that overall you have the right sentiment here, and it's great to hear you actually enjoyed the whole series. Yeah, can't wait for the movie. Love the podcast. Looking forward to the Heretics Marathon podcast. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed them, Todd. So
it was a marathon.
It was, and you know what? I'm very proud of it because it really is one of the most one of the deepest podcasts I've ever actually recorded, and also one that I think really does the book justice, because Heretics is a far deeper book than people may have ever thought it was. And I think that it may have gotten a lot of short shrift before that podcast. Okay, Sasha writes, "Hey guys, great podcast. Thanks for geeking out to my favorite sci-fi series of all time. One question I have for you is, are you really hating on the Dasadi Experiment? I found that novel to be absolutely fantastic. I've devoured all of Herbert's work, including Whipping Star, etc., and I enjoyed all of them. I find that each has something unique to contribute, and I'd be interested in hearing your opinion after listening to the Dasadi Experiment. I think Go Watch and Log, Busab George X, Mickey and the Reeves, etc. There's just a lot in depth there in that one as well. I hope that you reconsider and do a show on it. Good luck. Cheers, Sasha." I don't remember bashing Dasadi. Do you?
I probably did. It wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
And you know what? Maybe I need to revisit that.
Yeah, I am totally.
Sasha, I will make a point and try and revisit that one.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll report back.
And I have not read his entire catalog.
I have not either.
I have not read his entire catalog. I'd probably say 75%.
Yeah, and it's worth it to do so. I think that we probably should.
I have this thing with authors that I really love that I don't always read their entire catalogs.
Really?
Because then I'm done.
Well, that's true.
And I know it sounds dumb, but I'm like, I don't want there to not be any more.
It's a hard thing to do, but I think you owe it to yourself to understand and know. And always reread, right? So yeah, with Herbert, it's funny. Like people will tell you, are Dune books worth reading? They're like, yeah, the first one, but then the other ones, eh. But that's not true at all. We all know that's not true. And then when people say, are the other Herbert books good? And people are like, it's always like a weird middling thing. But I think that if you like Dune, you should be getting into the other Herbert stuff as well, because it's not like he shut off his brain and like these are just not good. There's certain Herbert stylings and influence and style there. So if you dig, how Frank Herbert writes and how he kind of collects his thoughts, you should definitely be checking out his other stuff too and see how it goes. Okay, Penny writes, "Hello, Joseph and Rod. I have been listening to your podcast of Heretics of Dune. This is the best podcast on the web for Dune, and I hope you post more frequently. Something we do too. We're trying hard. I want to thank you for the best discussion yet on the discovery of the Spice Horde at Siege Tabor and Leo 2's message to the Bene Gesserit. The writing and its meaning has puzzled me for a long time, and your analysis helped me understand a lot more. Please continue this excellent podcast. Thanks again, Penny." Well, Penny, we are going nowhere, I will say that. And with Dune being awakened as a franchise, we will be only coming to your ears as much as possible and much more frequently than in the past. So there was a hiatus, there was a delay, but we are going nowhere, even if it may take a month or two to get a podcast out. But when we do, you can rest assured that we have put in plenty of effort and tried to make sure that we are bringing you the best Dune podcast on the internet. Okay, our last.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, I assure you, none of these are rushed.
No, yeah,
There's definitely.
No.
We are taking copious notes.
Yeah, we talk, we make notes, we have preparation. There's plenty that goes into creating this show for all of you. So we, every time we hear you guys enjoy it, it really means a lot to us. Because trust me, we're not making a paycheck on this at all. Nor do we want to. This is just for love. Our final email of the night comes from Brian. It's not Brian Herbert. I did check on that one. Brian writes, "I started with episode about book 1 with the article written about Dune. I enjoyed the podcast and was wondering what you guys thought about Brian and Kevin J. Anderson writing a book that fills in the time between Children of Dune and God Emperor of Dune. I feel this is a huge time gap and would like to hear a story about what took place. In Children, we leave Leto changing and his sister wishing she could help. In God Emperor, his sister is long dead and Dune is a paradise. What took place in between?" Brian. All good thoughts there, and I think that is, absolutely right for a series at this point. So, alongside Dune, the Sisterhood, I think I remember. Yeah.
I think I remember a Twitter exchange with Brian.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was me or somebody else, where he talked about, that they have definitely bannied the idea of this time period and telling stories there. So
yeah, for sure. It's just
fingers crossed.
It's very obvious.
I'm with you. There's a huge there's a lot that's happened
Yeah.
that I would love more detail on. And I do think I really think they're gonna write something there.
I'm going to tell you, I say 3 movies. I'm sorry. Well, you have 2 movies with the first book. I think that Dune Messiah and Children of Dune will probably be, I don't know, two more movies, I'd say. I Dune Messiah is 1 movie. Is Children of Dune 2 movies? I don't think so. But I think that we'll probably get 4 movies and then a series called God Emperor of Dune. I think that would be amazing. To do like, I don't know, like a multi-season God Emperor of Dune, and then come back for, you know, what happens afterwards with, like, you know, a Heretics film and a Chapter House film and like the finale film, like a Dune 7 type film, which would be amazing. I don't know. What do you think about that?
It just still blows my mind that we're talking about movies past the original Dune.
I know.
I know. And not just wishful thinking. Like, this could easily happen.
Yeah, with Legendary seemingly very, very committed to this franchise, and with all of the A-list star power. I mean, Hans Zimmer is turning down Christopher Nolan projects so he can work on this. The A-list power on this entire film is just off the charts. So I think that we are about to experience greatness in the cinema, and I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah, I feel like how long do I have to wait? Like, I'm ready now.
I know, right? Yeah, you know, we have about a year, a little more than a year, I guess.
I've just been dying for like some kind of stills, anything.
Well, hopefully,
I want to see what the Bene Gesserit look like. I want to see what a still suit is portrayed at. I'd love to see. I don't think we'll get that, but what a sandworm.
I know. Hopefully, we won't have to wait much longer, right?
I hope not. Maybe this weekend.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this movie update, franchise update for Dune. And thank you so much for listening to the DuneCast, of course. You know where to find us. We are part of the RetroZap Podcast Network. You can subscribe to the RetroZap catch-all feed and get every show all in one place. It's available on all podcast apps, as we are. We are available everywhere podcasts are found. So you just type in DuneCast, 2 words, into your podcast app of choice, and we'll be there. Don't forget to visit us on DuneCast.com for show notes, artwork, and more there. And you can find every show we've ever done, along with other liner notes and other information as well. Email us, DuneCast@RetroZap.com. We are on Twitter and Instagram as well. And, you know, Apple Podcast reviews are still a thing, and we could absolutely use a few more, especially if you guys like the show and you appreciate what we do here. Apple Podcast reviews would be fantastic. Next up, guys, we're going to be going back into Chapter House, Dune, and we're going to be finishing up that entire series. So for Rod Johnson, I'm Joe Tavano. We'll see you guys next time.